Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Welcome to the first regular Thursday episode of We Don't Have Cookies. I'm your host, Jason Marshall, and just like every other inaugural type of show that we do, joining me today...
I was just going to say that. I always get to be your first.
Exactly. You were the first of the Dumbass of the Year episodes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, well, we'll get into that because I haven't introduced the segment, but there might be another monthly show that we're going to do too. So make sure you donate so I can have plenty of room on my hosting plan for all these shows.
The more you give to Jason, the more you get to hear me, is basically what it comes down to.
I got so many people I want to have on the show. I really don't have time to have them all.
And yet you end up with me every fucking week, so what does that say?
Hey, the people demand it.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go with that.
We're going to start this out with a question from the last guest, who thankfully and inexplicably sent me two questions, which has never happened before, which goes to the whole things happen for a reason shit that we were talking about on the last episode.
Yeah.
I guess they do. I always thought that was bullshit. It's just something people said to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Starting to wonder. Before I get the question, I want to make sure, if you're a new listener, what I do, whoever my last guest was, ask them a question to ask my next guest who they have no idea who it is. And I make sure that they don't know. That way they can't. It just makes it weirder. Like the last one was about, the last one was dicks for nipples or a nipple for a dick.
Yeah.
And because we had a cancellation, it was even better because I had to throw that to a woman. I had one where I had to ask a preacher who was my guest, have you ever had sex in his parents' bed at a very specific time?
Like during the summer solstice or something?
So the question is, would you rather wear the same outfit for the rest of your life or faintly smell like shit for the rest of your life?
Wear the same outfit. I would have no problem with that. Frankly, if I had a uniform for my life, I would be fine. I have no interest. I don't shop for myself. What happens is my mom and my sister both love to shop. So when they get tired of seeing me in the same thing all the time, they just bring me clothes. They're like, here, we found this. We thought of you. Here's some clothes. Please throw your other stuff away. Like, I don't care. I don't.
Asked and answered. One thing I wanted to make sure I talked to you about on this episode was something that I had no idea existed. I was watching TV and these kind of people came up and it caught my attention. The way they characterize them on TV is nothing at all like what these people are. It made it seem like the person on TV had some kind of split personality, but the more I looked into it, it's way weirder than that. Have you ever heard of a tulpamancer or a tulpa?
No.
Tulpamancers are mentally diseased people. It's the only way I could put it. But like most people, they think they're normal. And that's just me labeling somebody, to be fair. But what they do is they create these imaginary friends or pets in their mind who become sentient beings to them. So they don't tell them what to do or what to say or have these conversations that they create. The tulpa has conversations and it does whatever it wants. So instead of your imaginary friend playing with you, it could just go get ice cream.
So it's like Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
You remember that movie, Drop Dead? I used to love that movie. I thought it was hilarious. So I'm on board. No. I guess. I don't know. I mean, my son had not one imaginary friend, but a group of imaginary friends that he called his guys. And they were all a variety of guys who had died in various ways. One was a 70-year-old Jewish man who died in a car accident. So, yeah, I could see how that could, how it could transform itself. It's like extreme imaginary friends.
Yeah.
You know, you always have those friends that got to take everything to the next level. So that's like the next level of imaginary friends.
Well, I grew up out in the country. There was hardly any houses around. It got built up after a few years, but I lived so far out, they didn't have cable out my way, anything. I remember it was
a pizza. Your life was horrible.
They still don't deliver pizza. But I remember it was a big deal when cable was actually coming out to our way, and everybody on the school bus was talking about whether or not you were going to get cable. Yeah. It was a big deal. But I used to have imaginary friends because it was almost impossible to have a friend because no one lived anywhere close. So I get that if you're, 5, but when you're 47 and you're just hanging around the house and one of your best friends is an imaginary pony, it's kind of weird.
I mean, it was weird, but what's the difference? I mean, it's not like your friend is a real pony who's like walking around the house and wrecking all your. It's still imaginary. It's still.
Well, the thing that really gets me is the whole sentient part. So you have no control over whatever you. Let's face it. No matter what, it's still an imaginary thing that you made up. You have no control over your imagination. It's very bizarre. I can't really get a handle on it.
Well, the whole theory of poltergeists is that they are energy, like basically our own angry energy that builds up so much that it actually becomes its own form, does its own thing. So maybe there's a theory to be said it's like that. Like you've put so much energy into this imaginary friend that energy therefore takes on its own form outside of your control.
See, that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. I would have never thought of that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm really just pulling shit out of my ass.
It sounds like that's what they're doing too.
Yeah. I mean, I can see though. I can see where that. My son talks to himself all the time, and I often wonder. I'm like, are you talking to someone, or do you realize that these thoughts are inside your own head? He's like, oh no, I know I'm talking to myself. I'm like, okay, I'm just checking. Like, where on the crazy scale are we? So.
Well, you know what bronies are, right?
Yeah.
Just in case people don't know, they're adult males, or at least males.
Way into Pony or My Little Ponies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And apparently this is really, really big in the brony culture, which I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I read. I don't really know any bronies, but I guess they watch these movies and they come up with their own My Little Pony person.
If you'd ever watch Bob's Burgers, like I encourage you to, they have a whole episode called The Equestronauts that will explain the whole phenomenon to you. But yes, go ahead. I will try to do that. And I apologize to Eugene Merman for never watching that. There you go. I also apologize for not knowing who you were when I contacted you. You should apologize for that. I was offended on his behalf. You're a really cool guy. I don't know if I ever told that story. Did I? I don't know. I just saw he was opening for somebody. And I thought, oh, he sounds like a cool guy. And I got in touch with him. I had no idea that he was on TV and famous and all this stuff. I just thought he seemed like a cool dude and wanted to see if he had anything that I could throw on the podcast. Yeah. I don't know. You know I don't know who people are. I know you don't, and I think it's hilarious, and that's why I like to give you shit about it. I'm going to try to get some Tulpamancers on the show sometime. I really am. Because I'm very interested. I can easily see how it would evolve into that. And it almost seems like as a society, as we become more immersed in technology, in movies, in film, in YouTube, in Facebook, and Twitter, that we start to lose our real connections with the people around us. Yeah. And so it's very easy to wrap yourself in something and just make that your entire world. Because it's out there and accessible and you don't have to leave your house or see anyone. Well, and conversely, we're all connected. Now you have your own community of these people. Exactly. And it seems even bigger than it really is to you, because you get onto a forum and there's 600 people. Yeah. And you're never going to meet any of those people walking around your town. Yeah. But when you get online, you see all these people and you just feel like this is kind of like a socially acceptable thing that's widespread, even though it really isn't. Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around it, though. I don't understand how you can just pretend that something is there,
but it takes on this whole life where it becomes real.
But that's the disease part. See, that's what makes it a disease, and not like, oh, I understand how this happens, so this is okay, and a normal part of life. It's like, I don't understand how this works, so that's like the crazy part.
But everything I read made the people seem normal, and like this was some Buddhist thing. I'm being totally serious.
I mean,
they're saying that this
like
was
a hobby or anything else. Like, you have your regular work life, but then maybe you like to build sailboats, and so at the end of the day, you go to your garage and you build your sailboat. And sure, you don't know anybody else around town building a sailboat, but if you get online, you're going to find thousands of other people building sailboats.
That's true.
And then you can all get together at the lake and be like, oh, this is our sailboats. And then half of them sink and you're like, haha, you suck at making sailboats.
Well, they said that, I guess some kind of monks or something would, can't think of what the term is. They would meditate and bring these things to life. And that's where it originated, was some kind of a religious ceremony.
It seems like a weird thing to focus your meditation on. Like, like, I love me some My Little Ponies. I like their views on the world. And, they each have their unique specialness, their own little thing, but yet they work together as a team for the greater good. Yep, I'm just going to home it up with some thinking about, I don't know, rainbow shine? I don't know.
I was going to ask what your My Little Pony name would be.
Whatever the grumpy character is and everything, like growing up, I was always that grumpy character. My aunt latch hooked me a rug that was Grumpy Smurf. My sister got the girl Smurf. What's her name?
Oh, Smurfette.
Smurfette. Yeah. My older sister got Smurfette. I got Grumpy Smurf. I remember another aunt gave us My Little Ponies. She got like the Sunshine Pony, and I got the Grumpy Pony. Care Bears, Grumpy Bear. It was just whatever grumpy character there was, that was me. I was known as the grumpy kid. Like, in all the family pictures, you can see I'm smiling, but then if you look really close, you can see like dried tears from where like my mom threatened to beat me if I didn't smile. She's like, I will kill you in your sleep.
I had no idea there was a whole subculture of these people are our age. It's just something that's taken hold of. I guess it's kind of like furries. Yeah. The people who dress up and think they're animals.
Yeah.
There's a whole community of them in New York. They all like, it sounds like I'm trying to make a pun, but they all flocked there and started this community. This is something, as I always said, no matter what race you are, we could all be the same race, and humanity would find some way to segregate ourselves. Yeah, oh yeah. We could all be white, and we could all have blonde hair and blue eyes, and we turn ourselves into people who had moles and people who didn't, or people. I mean,
that's what Catholic school was. We all basically were from the same families. 99% of us were white. We all wore the same thing every day. What was the only thing that was different? Your shoes. It all came down to the shoes. And even now, like, I still look at people's shoes.
Well, it's just a flaw in human nature where we just want to divide ourselves into groups. And furries are a good example, because I watched a documentary about them. And they're furries who don't think they're animals. They think they're insects. Oh. And the animal people think they are very, very weird. I think how weird do you have to be the outcast of somebody who thinks he's a real wolf? Because you think you're a fly.
The wolf is like, wow, you were taking this way too far. A fucking moth? That is ridiculous, dude.
I'm going to go to my raccoon friend Eric's house later, and we're going to talk so much shit about that guy.
We're digging through the trash tonight. You're going to be all we're thinking about or making fun of.
And I'm going to howl laughing at you because I'm a wolf.
Though I think as humanity, we like have to divide ourselves out because you can't care about everybody. I mean, it's like on Facebook. Yeah. You'd be manic depressive equally caring about everybody's post because somebody's like, yeah, I got a promotion, best day ever. And somebody's like, we had to put our dog down today. Yeah. So you can't care about everyone. So you're like, all right, who am I going to care about? The people without moles, duh.
I'm trying to get back on Facebook a little more often. Mainly just because of something you said about how if you post 5 pictures or so, the people who only like a couple of them, I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Well, I always know when my mother-in-law has been on her Facebook because everything that I've posted since the last time she was on Facebook has been liked. Like when I get on, I have 20 notifications. It's because his mom has gone through and liked everything.
My mother-in-law does that too. Yeah. Like, oh, Diane got on Facebook this weekend.
So it must be a mother-in-law thing. They're like, I don't want you to think I don't like you, so let me let me like everything.
I got a segment that we're going to introduce on the show that will happen every Thursday, and it's from the This or That podcast. You can listen to it on iTunes. Are you just trying to give
yourself something to do every day?
Pretty much.
If I have a podcast every day, my life won't be sad.
I'll be honest, it does help.
I'm sorry. I was just messing up. I'm sorry. I got rude there with the rudeness.
I want to be the Joe Rogan of comedy podcast. We're coming out every day for 3 hours. But it's from the This or That podcast. You can check them out on iTunes. Every week they go over a topic. It's a this or that question, and they spend about 20 minutes or so debating which side they would choose.
Yeah.
This week, I'm going to ask you their very first topic. Came out about a year ago, so we're not trying to go over anything they've done recently, so make sure you check them out.
Yeah.
Would you rather be trapped in a cage with 100 angry cats or 1 lion?
I don't know.
I think I would rather just go with the lion. It would eat me very quick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to just keep kicking cats off of me while other ones jumped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but if given the temperament of a lion, if I'm in the cage with it, is it going to want to hurt me versus if I'm in a cage with a bunch of cats, are they going to want to hurt me? I mean, there's a chance I could make friends, potentially pull some Jedi mind trick and like...
Yeah, because the description didn't say it was an angry lion.
Yeah, or
just
a hungry
said one
lion.
Yeah.
I mean, also, given the temperament of cats, put 100 cats together, they're going to be pissed off no matter what. I mean, they're just going to be, you just can't put 100 cats anywhere if things go well.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to go with the 1 lion. Final answer, 1 lion.
That's what I'm going with, too.
Yeah. Do I win something?
No.
Oh, okay.
On the Monday shows, we always have an ending segment called This Week's Dumbass of the Year. On Thursdays, we're going with Sweet or Psychotic. That's a segment that I always wanted to do on the show. I think it would be a good place for it to have a home on the Thursday episodes. There's a North Carolina woman who's offering her farmhouse, which is worth $450,000, to an essay winner. You fill out a form, you send in, I think it's a $200 application fee. She reads your essay, and I think it's only to couples, too. So if she thinks that you and your husband could handle the farming life, she might choose you.
Yeah.
Is that something sweet to do where you're helping out somebody who might want to be a farmer or live that kind of lifestyle but can't afford $450,000 to buy your property? Or is it really psychotic to just give away $450,000 worth of property to somebody who wrote an essay?
One, it depends on what their family situation is. Do they not have any kids or relatives who would like this farm? Is it something that they're like, we just don't want to have it go to the government or be sold off in parcel and developed?
Yeah.
So I'd say it's sweet if they don't have kids who are very pissed off. Like their oldest son's been working this farm and expects it to be his legacy. And mom's like, yeah, I'm just going to give it away to somebody who writes a nice essay. Why don't you fill out an essay form and we'll see how you do. So that would be psychotic.
I think I'd have to lean psychotic.
Really?
It just seems very weird to just... The whole premise is weird. You're having an essay. Why would you want to read all these essays in the first place?
Well, I think the $200 fee keeps it from being ridiculous. Like, nobody's going to spend $200 just to make somebody read an essay.
Yeah. But that kind of narrows your field down, too, to people that, not to say if you got $200, you could afford a $450,000 farmhouse.
But clearly you're not living paycheck to paycheck if you can afford to throw down $200 on.
Yeah, you could pay for the tax. Yeah. I don't know.
I got to start my essay.
I thought about it till I found out it was $200. And fuck that.
See, that's exactly why it's $200.
Yeah. So you're going with Sweet?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking about doing a monthly show where we take the winners just like the Dumbass of the Year. and it's the sweetheart of the month or the psychopath of the month. I don't know. We probably won't be doing that. It sounds kind of complicated.
No, well, complicated, but you're got to keep track of a lot of segments now.
Yeah. I do have a little thing at home where I keep track of all the dumbass of the years now.
Oh, yeah.
So when I go over it at the end of the month with Benny Mac, I at least remember the story.
Yeah, you're going to have to start keeping a list of all these segments that you're promoting.
I don't know. I think I might have told you this, but the show, unless somebody cancels last minute, is pretty much booked all the way up through June.
Yeah.
We're going to add an extra show sometime. I don't know when we'll do it. All right. Well, I think I told you guys there's going to be no show Monday, and I'm going to be in Pennsylvania. That's why.
Why are you going to Pennsylvania?
Beats me. But the show will be back next Thursday. We're going to have 2 members of the Canadian improv troupe Focus Up, Tracy Rowland and Dwayne Melman. Should be a lot of fun. If you want to get a hold of me, you can send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com, or you can leave a voicemail by calling 929-266-9342, and I'll talk to you Thursday.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review.
You know I don't know who people are.
I know you don't, and I think it's hilarious.